Hey everyone, this is Reginald from solomid.net and this is my Shaco tutorial. In this tutorial I'm going to go over everything about Shaco. In my opinion, he is one of the best junglers in solo queue and one of the best gankers as well. For range I go with 9 armor penetration marks, 9 attack speed seals, 9 mana regen per level glyphs, 2 health quintessences, and 1 armor penetration quintessence. I go armor pen on marks and 1 in quintessence because it helps me deal more damage when ganking, so my damage is increased. Attack speed seals for increasing my or lowering my jungle time and jungling faster. And mana regen glyphs in case people gank me and I don't have golem or any buffs, so I'll just drop boxes and farm slowly. The mana regen glyphs are just in case things happen. Usually people try to gank you, and if they stop your buffs, you'll need the extra mana regen to jungle. For masteries, I go 2109, maxing in the offense tree with Havoc, and putting 1 into utility mastery in the utility tree. So there are many ways to jungle as Shaco, and this is the fastest route unless you get stopped. And what happens is if you get stopped with this route, you have to go and transition a golem right away, or you'll be slowed down completely. So as soon as they stop your boxes, you really want to just make it to golem. So you have two options now. If your teammates help you, you can save 1 potion. So I'd rather have that, so I'm going to ask them to help me. And if they don't help you, you'll have to burn a potion, and you'll have to buy instead of ganking after getting all the buffs. So what I have here is I'm going to have Poppy and Urgot and Aurelia. Aurelia just basically dashed at that, and it still does the damage over the wall. He just doesn't dash to it. So now I'm going to go ahead and just finish up my jungle. It's really important to switch to Golem if you get ganked by Lizard because there are no other routes. And I preferred starting at a Lizard because if I do pull it off, I get a lot faster. I get a jungle a lot faster, of course, because Lizard does true damage, and when you kill creeps, it just does a bunch more damage than starting at Golem first. You're just going to drop boxes a little bit faster. And if you get stopped at Lizard, you can always go to Golem. You can start at Lizard at many ways. You can put all your boxes in the Lizard brush or put 2 at the Golem brush. It's more effective and faster if you put 2 boxes at the Golem and go for it, but if they stop you, you have to transition Golem. Whereas if you put all your boxes in the Lizard brush, then you can stop them from completely taking your Lizard. So it just depends on the team comp. I should have actually put all the boxes in the brush that time because they did have an Alistar. And what you want to do is you want to box depending on their team comp. So what I'm doing now is I just finished my runes and getting buff the buffs. So I'm gonna go ahead and gank Malzahar because I want to burn in summoners. And you have to be able to understand that when you gank, you can gank for summoner spells or gank for the kill. And now I'm ganking to make him burn his summoners because I knew that even if I were to blow Ghost right there, I wouldn't have been able to kill that Malzahar because he had flash. So it would have been a big waste of Ghost, and it would basically lower my chances of ganking and getting another kill if my summoner was down. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to go ahead and just back up and farm and go back to gank him after that because I just burned his flash and he has no escape now. That's really big. So you need to differentiate between a kill and an unkillable, of course. That was unkillable because he had flash and he's full HP, so I knew that he was going to come back. So I'm going to go ahead and just gank him now when he doesn't have summoners up and I get the kill because I burnt a summoner the first time. So this is another start with Shaco, and I'm jungling against a Rammus. So okay, jungling with Shaco depends every single time. It's completely different because you want to mix it up every time. So this is what you're going to have to learn on your own, but I'm going to give you guys an example. So when you're jungling against a Rammus isn't that fast of a jungler, and he's pretty vulnerable to gank when he uses defense curl to basically jungle. Because what he does is he uses defense curl to jungle, and when it's off, he's really squishy. Since I'm jungling against a Rammus, I know for a fact that I can counter jungle him, and I'm going to try to get this red to gank him. But again, they do have a Scion and a Blitz, so I'm putting all my boxes in there to try to fend off their gank. But again, if Blitz pulls someone, of course they're going to die. So I tell everyone in chat to not get pulled. But the thing is that this cannon does get pulled, and he didn't think that the pull would go through the boxes, but it actually does. So the box doesn't act as a ward, like how you can drop a ward and fend off blitz pull. It doesn't work if it's stealth, but if it is just dropped, then it can stop a pull. So he gets tossed into my boxes, but his mana shield saves him, and I know for a fact that I have to run on my golem immediately because Rammus will be at his wraith as soon as I finish golem and wolves. So I decided to gank Rammus there because if you jungle a lot, you know how fast each jungler jungle. So your objective is to counter jungle if you can. And Shaco's a really strong counter jungle because he can overextend as much as he wants, and he has deceive, so he can easily get away. And I know that I need help on this golem, so I'm going to start it early and ask my teammates to help me. So I'm going to pick up this golem, go kill wolves, and immediately go to his wraiths because I know he'll be there. And plus we have a Claire, so my teammate's gonna clear wolves, and then I'm gonna know exactly where he's at. I'm gonna kill us really fast, and I'm gonna go ahead and stealth over this wall. So I stealthed over that wall, and what I did was I walked directly behind the wolf and hit it in the back for 20% more damage plus a crit. So it's basically 40% extra more damage, and that's a lot of damage. So what you want to do when you're jungling is, if you can, always hit the back of the minion with Deceive, but only do that when you have golem buffs, so you won't be scarce on mana. And my teammates just cleared Rammus, and I know that he's at Wraith, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to gank there and try to get the kill. And if I don't get the kill, I'm going to force him back. So Rammus does have flash, and I'm planning to try to make him burn it so I can get a gank on him when he does do Lizard. And so I make him burn his flash here, and I can take these wraiths for sure because I do have my smite up. And what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to actually try to drop some boxes and pick off an early kill on Rammus because I know for a fact that no matter what, they'll completely try to stop me from taking their red. And that gives me a huge advantage because I know that Rammus will stay around. So I get taunted here and I panic and I ghost, which was a bad ghost on my part. So I'm just going to stay there for a bit and look at Rammus, and it looked like he wanted to stay. Instead of running back, I saw that he was just standing there and waiting. So what I did was I decided to put 2 boxes just by analyzing him standing over there. I knew that he didn't want a blue pill, because usually if people wanted a blue pill, they'll just walk back to the tower and blue pill right away. I saw that Claire, so I dropped away from the range of the Claire, and I dropped 2 boxes there, and I pick off the kill on Rammus. So what I do now is I want to immediately run out and go back to Lizard as soon as possible. So after getting first blood on Rammus, I'm going to go back to my jungle, kill wraiths, kill wolves, because I know that wolves will respawn right after I kill wraiths. So I deceive over because I have golem buff and mana isn't a problem. I drop a box and smite as early as possible, so my smite will come back on cooldown. And that's really huge because you want to save as much time as possible on smite, and you'll get a lot more gold. So I'm gonna go ahead and go. So I'm gonna go to wolves now and do them. And as I walk over there, I see Rammus because my teammates clear him. And I look at his items, and I came to the conclusion that he isn't able to do red because as the game goes longer, Lizard and other buffs get stronger and stronger, and they get more HP. So what I know is Rammus cannot do red, so after he does those golems, he's gonna immediately go back to the wolves next to the blue golem on his side, and in that time period, I will be able to do his red. So after he does his wolves, his golem should be up very soon, and he's probably gonna do that golem. So that's my thought process, and I know that he's already going to his wolves. So what I'm doing is I'm gonna do his red, and I just walked right there and I saw raids just respawn. So what I thought now is he's just doing his raids, and he's still not strong enough to do reds. So as he does his raids, he does not know that I'm at his red and I'm doing his raids red right now while he's doing his raids. And after he does his raids, he's gonna go to that camp next to golem. So that's my thought process while I'm playing. And after I take this red, I'm gonna go ahead and go back to my jungle, and I'm gonna buy first, then I'm gonna go gank because I just got red buff. I have enough to buy Madreds and boots. So far I've taken wraiths from Rammus and red, and I've gotten a kill. So there are 2 common general skill orders for Shaco, and this is the first one where I max Jack in the Box first. And the good things about maxing Jack in the Box first is that You can control your buffs and you can control dragon early game, and it also helps you with counter jungling. On the other hand, the weaknesses of maxing Jack in the Box first is that your ganks aren't as strong because you don't do enough, or you don't do that much damage because your two shift poison is only level 1. However, when you do dragon, you can have complete control because when you put down 5 boxes, the enemies will not engage on you. That's basically a 5 AoE stuns, and so you'll have complete control of dragon. So on the other hand, maxing 2 Shiv makes your ganking much stronger. You do maybe 200 extra damage with 2 Shiv because what it does is you're able to at least 2 Shiv twice, and that adds up to maybe like 200 to 300 damage while ganking a bottom lane. And what that does is you can either go with the ganking route and gank a bottom lane or a mid lane, and once you get the kill, you can go for dragon because you'll outnumber them, or you can go with the box build and have a safe dragons early game. It's up to you because ganking is really effective too. It weakens them, and it also helps you have dragon control. So here, I'm going to set up for dragon. Usually it takes me a minute and a half or two, but at the same time, I am looking at the map, I am looking for ganks, and I have golem buff up, so I'm gonna go ahead and just use my mana and try to harass Blitzcrank because when I set up for Dragon, I want bottom lane to be as low HP as possible so I get every single advantage. Now I'm gonna go back and drop a few more boxes when my box cooldown is actually up. I drop a box in front of Claire, but they didn't know that the other 4 or 5 boxes are still there. So I see that Poppy got engaged on, and I'm running down there. Because I'm ability boots, I can get there really fast. And Poppy is almost dead, but he could have gotten away, but he's gonna go for the kill and blitz. We pick up the kill and blitz, but we can't kill Alistar. At the same time, Poppy does die though. So look at this clip and notice here how I E that Alistar and I show him I'm running directly to Dragon because that's like a simple bait. I start hitting Dragon for him to walk into the boxes. Now I'm going to send a C right over and go for the kill. So after securing that kill, I dropped another box at that left entrance where Warwick, their jungle, can possibly run at us. And now I have 2 boxes, and it's going to hit the person that's going to run in. He drops a word, and my box aggroes that word. But at the same time, my box switched to him and start hitting him. And he runs to the right, but he already got ulted him to the right, and he got feared again, where I picked up another kill. So here's the second part of another dragon clip where I set up boxes. So I'm just going to go ahead, and I knew that I was going to go buy soon. And I just ran in there, check what works do, and I drop a couple boxes. Then I know for a fact that Dragon's respawning, so I know for a fact that Dragon has a 6 minute cooldown. All the other buffs have 5 minute cooldowns, and I think that the rates and everything has a minute and 30-second cooldown. So I have that all in my mind, and a good thing to do is to keep track of it is basically to type it out as you kill it. So as soon as you kill dragon at like 15:15, you want to type in 15:15. So you know that 6 minutes later it'll respawn, and then that's what you want to do is you set up for dragon that way. Usually, if you do the box baits, you may want a couple teammates around because you can guarantee the kills. Like in this instance, everyone is going to dragon and preparing to stop the dragon. But the thing is, my whole team's there too. So when they actually fight us with all the boxes, it's guaranteed victory. Those boxes are really useful because they all count as just AoE stuns, like, or they don't really count as a stun, but it's like an AoE disable. So, and it does damage. So it's just really good early game. Late in the game though, people can just one shot those boxes, but if they run into those boxes without oracles, they still get feared. And the thing is, people usually don't want to focus the boxes because the first instinct they have is always to try to kill the champion. That's why I think the Shaco boxes are just really good to level up. But again, leveling up 2 shift just makes your ganks a lot stronger as well though. So there's some pros and cons to it. So this is the general items I usually aim for. I start off with cloth armor, 5 potions. I build it up to madreds, then boots, wriggles, mobility boots. I go straight for two attack speed daggers first. Then I finally go into Black Cleaver. Then with my additional dagger, I build a Phantom Dancer. Then after that, I go Banshees and IE. What you want to do this with this build is you're very, very strong one-on-one, so you can fight your opponents and push lanes. So this is more of a pushing strat and fighting opponents one-on-one. In this clip, I'm gonna show you guys the importance of pushing with Shaco. So this is what I generally do. It's commonly known that Shaco isn't very strong in team fights because he can get focused down really easily. Well, the truth is that is correct. So what I do is I generally just push with Shaco, and if they want to push, then hopefully I can push faster because I have a hallucination. So notice how that Anivia just used her teleport to teleport top to stop that push in the middle of a team fight. And I'm going to go ahead and pick up the red now. And the important thing is that I always have their buffs on timers. When you're jungling, you need to know red is 5 minutes, and after you kill the red or after they kill the red, you should be able to understand and know when the red is up. So I go ahead and pick up the red, and now I see that they're still pushing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and run straight down bottom, and Anivia just teleported top, so I'll be way ahead of her. And now I'm stopping those creeps so they can't push mid. And they walk middle and they try to backdoor without creeps, so they killed towers really slow and they just got initiated on. And remember, Anivia was still top because she teleported up there, so it's a 4v4, and I'm going to go run in there and it'll become a 5v4. So notice the importance of pushing. So after we kill them here and catch them, what I'm going to do is continue to do the same thing, but this time Anivia does not have teleport. So what that means is they're going to need someone to defend. So after just picking them off, we can easily do Baron, and that's what we're going to do. Pushing is a very valid strategy with Shaco that I hardly ever see anyone, and it's mostly commonly used when you're behind. Because if you're a lot stronger than them in your head, of course you want to fight with their team, but I recommend this strategy for people that are behind. So the score was maybe 10-2, and we've finally caught up. So I've been backdooring this whole game, but I'm only going to show you this clip because it is the essence of backdooring. I mean, I just basically went up top and pushed, right? And Anivia teleported to top. Now she doesn't have her teleport. I'm going to go ahead and go top again and just constantly push and keep putting pressure there. Because the more pressure I put, the better it is. Shaco is not equivalent to an Anivia in a team fight. He is more of an assassin. And the truth is that against their team, they have a Rammus and an Anivia. So what they can do is they can taunt me, they can slow me, and I can't really do much in a team fight unless Kennen engages on them. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing I've been doing, and I'm going to stay top and constantly apply pressure and constantly push. And they're going to always send someone top because they don't want to lose towers that are free. Basically, a free tower is just letting them kill it. So I noticed that they got engaged on middle, and they understand that I'm top, so what they're doing is they're just trying to avoid it and just run away as long as possible. The longer the other team chases him, the more damage I can do to their building. So now I see that Anivia is top, and I run immediately down to try to engage on a fight with them. I'm just going to stay top and apply a little bit more pressure though, and because I saw Anivia back out and go around, so what that meant was she wanted to trail on middle to fight and team fight, and that's their objective right now because they have bottom inhibitor, and what they really want to do is just constantly apply pressure to us. But at the same time, I'm keeping Anivia at bay and I'm keeping her top. And now I see them, they're trying to push without Anivia, and remember, I made the Anivia use teleport, so it's down. I dropped those boxes there, so it fears Anivia, so it even takes her longer to get back down. Notice how I made a trail box in the jungle, so she walks down there and she hits a box and gets feared. So I'm going to go ahead and engage on this fight 5v4 without Anivia because they don't think that I'm here still. They still thought that I was top. I go back to base, and it's a 5v4 fight, and from being 10-2, we got a lucky Baron, and now we're back in the game because of pushing Shaco. And that strategy is really commonly used when you're down. But I never see Shacos use it at all. They always go for a gank. Shaco's not only a strong ganker, but he's a really strong pusher too because he can gank and he can push without dying, but mainly he can push forever without dying. Even if they have an Oracles, it's still really hard because it deceives like a flash, or a little bit longer if you jump through terrain. So that's pretty much it in the pushing sense, and To learn this strategy, you'll have to really just be able to gauge and understand the game. And how to practice is just play a lot of Shaco games and understand pushing. Alright, now essentially this build is probably the exact same. And the thing is that I just wanted to show you guys the same items, but instead of a Banshees, a Guardian's Angel. In my opinion, I would use Banshees against maybe a stronger caster team, and Guardian's Angel against a higher physical damage team. And what Guardian's Angel does is just makes you really strong. You can run in there and just chase straight off after the AD carry. With Banshees, you want to just stay a little bit back, wait until people get focused, then you can go in and you wouldn't have to worry much. And that's pretty much it. Here I'll be showing you guys how I team fight. So you always want to drop boxes when people are pushing. So I'm dropping a box right there in case they flash up to me, they'll get feared. So now you always want to stay in back and focus the closest target unless their carry is open to be attacked. So I run in as I saw Kennen run forward because I knew that he was going to cast his ultimate. And the big thing about that is since Kennen's ultimate disables people, it allows me to do as much damage as possible. So what that does is I can freely attack and on the same time not be focused. That's really huge. You never ever want to run in directly as Shaco, but you want to always follow up at the correct time. Sometimes when you're playing against different comps, you might even want your teammates to soak a little bit of damage first before going in. It depends on every single comp that you're playing against. In this case, though, Rammus is on front trying to taunt someone, Sion is trying to stun someone, and Anivia and Urgot just stays back to do damage. So what I did was I waited till Singe got stunned and he tossed Sion back. I just focused Sion, and there you go. So it just varies depending on team comps, and you'll learn that from playing multiple Shaco games. So this build is called the Baron build. I generally go this build when my solo lanes have wriggles, such as like maybe an Ezreal going wriggles or Teemo going wriggles. You can pull very fast Baron. So if they push bottom or go over to Dragon, you can easily do Baron really fast with their hallucination and another wriggles on your team. You can basically kill Baron within like 30 seconds, so they won't be able to react in time. If they're pushing bottom, doing Dragon, or going back to heal, you can just kill Baron so fast with this build. And what that does, it guarantees you a victory. You can pull off so many towers with Baron, and that's why I like this build. So in this clip here, I'm fighting a really farmed Reginald. He's 6-0 top. He's killed Twisted Fate many times now. I'm going to try to go with the bait on the Reginald. I planned this ahead. I dropped a box right there, and I go on the Reginald knowing that he's going to do a lot of damage on me, but I didn't think he was going to be able to kill me because I knew and I depended on TF to pull a gold card. So what I did was I ran around. I knew that Reginald's going to go and jump on Twisted Fate because he just used his ultimate. So I drop another box to chain fear him. And with that chain fear, I can re-engage on Reginald for the kill. This build here is a hybrid build, and you've noticed lately that I either go mobility boots or berserker greaves and automatically wriggles every time. I think wriggles is an essential item. You can do so much with wriggles. You can stop Rammus rolls with the ward from wriggles. You can ward in case they're doing Baron. You can stop pulls. You can do so much with wriggles. I think it's probably one of the best jungle items in the game, and you can commonly see it on jungles. Anyways, I like going this build because it just kills tanks really fast. If the other team were to stack tanks, what you can do is you can wait for the tanks to engage on your other teammates, let them soak some damage, and just go in and start killing tanks when they've blown all their ultimates and spells. So with the Youmuu's and Youmuu's Wriggles Lantern and Last Whisper, you can cut through tanks really easily. And I go the Banshees and IE just for some defense and extra damage. In this clip, I wanted to emphasize timing. I time all the buffs. I time my own buffs and I time their buffs. Whenever I kill their buff or blue buff, I always type in chat. Like, if I were to kill it at 18 minutes, I would type in 18 minutes. And I would know that I would respawn at 23 minutes exactly. So I always run there maybe a couple seconds ahead of time, get to blue. And notice how I walk into this brush. I always drop my box first just in case. And what it does is if they were to try to gank me, it would fear them. And now I have a successful blue buff. So jungle timing is really important. If you're to take their buffs, make sure to time it up so you can get it again. Here it's pretty straightforward. I have my ward and my wriggles. I'm using my boxes to get vision, or using my box right there because I thought that Blitz was gonna pull me, so I was gonna wait for that Blitz to pull the box. But in this clip, I wanted to make note of using your W, your box, to stop Rammus's roll. Notice how I dropped my box there and I stopped Rammus's roll and gave Ken an opportunity to escape, but he ran back in to Sue. Here, we are running away from them and trying to escape, and my boxes are down because I'm going to drop it here to just slow them down, so they'll have to either kill it or get feared. And notice how my box is down, so I cannot stop Blitz's pull with Jack in the Box, so I drop a ward instead. And W can stop Blitz's pull just when it drops, but when it goes invisible, it doesn't stop Blitz's pull anymore. So here, before I engage, I drop a box knowing that Warwick will ult me, and the thing is I actually ult his ultimate, and he gets feared right afterwards. So this is proper use of using Shaco's ultimate and using a box. You can totally tell when the Warwick's gonna ult you, so you can easily just drop a box down, and what it does is it stops his ult midway. So here, I just finished stealing some of their jungle creeps, now I'm running away from LeBlanc. I run into some mushrooms, and I'm like, crap, so I have to deceive down a Baron, but I know that LeBlanc's still gonna chase me. So I run into another mushroom, unfortunately, and I'm just gonna run to the left. I decide to drop another box, and I can hear LeBlanc using his Q. So he does his two W's, and he just uses another W here. I ultimate to dodge his Q, and I trail my image behind me on purpose to dodge his chain. So if he was shooting at me, I would miss. So on the last few clips, I have been explaining how to use Shaco's ultimate to dodge things, and it can practically dodge most things. It takes you out of the game for like maybe half a second to 1 second, and you don't take any damage. You can dodge Karthus ult if you know the timing on it. You can dodge Ash Arrow if you can anticipate it. You can basically dodge almost anything. You can even dodge Garen's ult, or even Garen Q, which I've shown in multiple cases of my other videos. And in this case, I'm going to dodge the last tick of Ignite. And the thing is that dodging the last tick of Ignite is very, very easy because it has 5 ticks, and once the thing goes to 1/5 of a bar, you cast your ult. Rather than casting it midway of the night, I cast it on the last tick for it to be a really easily dodged, instead of just clicking it midway and it might not dodge a tick. If you just press it, it won't just dodge the Ignite tick. You have to time it correctly. Anyways, thanks for watching my tutorial, and please subscribe. You can go to solomid.net to check out my full guide. I have text and videos there, and thanks for watching.